Once upon a time, in a small picture square village nestled between hills, there lived two inseparable friends, Anika and Sarah. They had known each other since childhood, their bond unbreakable despite the passage of time. Their friendship was built on laughter, shared secrets, and dreams of the future. Anika was a kind and gentle soul, while Sarah was a more fiery and ambitious spirit. They complemented each other perfectly, and everyone in the village admired their friendship. As they grew older, their lives began to take different paths, but they always remained close. Anita, with her compassionate heart, married a kind-hearted farmer named Peter. Sarah, on the other hand, married a wealthy merchant called Thomas. The two women would often meet to chat, share stories, and discuss the changes in their lives. They would laugh about their childhood dreams had evolved into something more complex. One day, after a long season of waiting, Anika found out she was pregnant. Her heart soared with joy, and so did Peter's. The entire village celebrated with them, and Sarah was among the first to congratulate her best friend. However, deep inside Sarah couldn't help but feel a stirring of something else, something she didn't understand or want to acknowledge. It was jealousy. You see, Sarah has always wanted a child, but her path to motherhood has been riddled with challenges. Years of trying had left her discouraged, and despite all her wealth and status, there was one thing she couldn't obtain: a child of her own. It was a sorrow that gnawed at her, especially now as Anika's pregnancy became the talk of the village. As months went by, Anika's belly grew and her joy seemed to radiate. She would speak of the baby kicks and the nursery she was preparing with Peter's help. Sarah visited often, but each time the envy within her grew stronger. She tried to push it away, tried to be happy for her friend, but deep down, a sense of longing and inadequacy consumed her. One evening, as she sat down in Anika's home, Sarah couldn't hold it any longer. "Anika," she said, her voice flattering, "don't you ever wonder why things don't seem to work out for some of us? Why I don't have the happiness you have?" Anika, always the empathetic friend, took Sarah's hand in hers. "Sarah, you have been a wonderful friend to me. Please, don't think like that. Life doesn't always go well as planned, but we find happiness in different ways, and I'm sure you'll be a mother in your own time." But Sarah's heart was already hardened. She didn't want to wait. She couldn't. It was in those moments of doubt that the seeds of dark thoughts began to take root in her mind. She knew about a certain old practices passed down through generations, secret rituals that were whispered about in the village. Desperate for a child, Sarah decided to take a path she never thought she would consider. One evening, as the village was blanked in darkness, Sarah sneaked into Anika's house. She had heard rumors of how charm spells could influence destiny. A particular charm used for conception had been passed down by elders in her village. In desperation, Sarah decided to use it. She knew that if she could just alter the course of Anika's pregnancy, it should steal away the happiness her friend had found. Perhaps she would find her own. Under the cover of the night, Sarah poured the charm into the slippers that Anika would wear the next morning. The spell would work, she thought. Her jealousy and longing had clouded her judgment, but all she could focus on was getting what she so deeply desired. The next morning, Anika slipped into her slippers as she prepared for the day ahead. She felt a twinge of discomfort, but thought little of it, as she had been feeling strange lately. Throughout the day, she felt increasingly unwell. She had trouble keeping food down, and her energy waned. By evening, Anika had fallen into a fevered sleep, her body betraying her, the charm beginning to take effect. Sarah watched through the shadow, her heart beating with both excitement and guilt, as she had no idea what the consequences of her action might be. But she was too far gone to turn back. As she waited, the guilt began to gnaw at her. Was this really the right thing to do? She had always been close to Anika. Now she had resorted to this. Days passed, and Anika's condition grew worse. She could no longer keep food down, and felt weak. She consulted the village healer, who couldn't find any specific cause for her illness. Anika's always glowing skin had turned pale, and her happiness began to fade as her heart declined. Peter was beside himself with worry, and Sarah, though her guilt was eating her alive, pretended to be concerned, offering her help. A week later, when Anika's condition reached a point of near collapse, that Sarah began to see the full impact of what she had done. One night, as Sarah sat by the window, lost in thoughts, she overheard the village healer speaking to Anika's husband, Peter. "I fear this illness has been caused by a powerful external force," the healer said, "a charm or curse that is beyond nature." The words hit Anita like a thunderclap. She knew instantly what had happened. Her jealousy, her desire to possess what wasn't hers, and harm to the one person she loved most in the world. The guilt overwhelmed her, and for the first time, she realized the depth of her mistake. The next morning, Sarah approached Anika, who was lying in the bed, pale and fragile. "Anika," she whispered, her voice breaking, "I did something terrible. I used a charm on your slippers, thinking it would make me a mother. I wanted what you had so badly, but I never considered the consequences." Anika's eyes, though filled with pain, showed understanding. "Sarah, I knew something was wrong. I could feel the weight of your jealousy, even without knowing what you had done." Tears streamed down Sarah's face as she continued, "I never meant for you to suffer. I was blinded by my own desires, and I hurt you, my dearest friend. Please forgive me." Anika reached out and touched Sarah's hand. "Sarah, the pain you feel now is your punishment, but forgiveness is the only way to heal. You must learn that in life, you cannot take what is not ours to claim." Sarah was devastated, but as Anita spoke, she began to understand. She had been so consumed by her jealousy that she had forgotten the true meaning of friendship. The love she had for Anika had been twisted by insecurity and longing, but true love, real friendship, was not about possessing or controlling. It was about supporting, understanding, and respecting each other's journey. As weeks passed, Sarah tried to make amends. She helped Anika through her recovery, supporting her as she regained her strength, and slowly the charm's effects wore off. And Anika began to feel better, but Sarah never stopped feeling the weight of her actions. It was a long road to redemption, but she worked hard to become a better person, one who could truly love her friends without envy. Years later, Sarah finally became a mother, not through charm or manipulation, but through the purest of means, and in that moment, she held her child in her arms. She understood the true gift of motherhood. It wasn't a thing to be controlled. It was a blessing, a gift that came with patience, love, and understanding. As for Anita, she had forgiven Sarah, and their friendship grew stronger than ever. They were no longer just friends, they were sisters, bounded by love and a shared history. Together, they raised their children, setting an example of what true friendship and motherhood should be. The village too learned a lesson. The elders spoke of Sarah's dark journey, warning their children of the dangers of jealousy and envy. They taught that while everyone's path to happiness is different, it is love we give that truly defines us. And in the end, Sarah learned that a heart full of envy would never find peace. Life went on in the village. Anika, Sarah, and their families thrived, united in love, understanding, and the lessons they had learned from the darkest of time. They raised their children with care, examples of kindness, honesty, and the importance of never allowing jealousy to darken one's mind.